Uh, unless it's a fallen power line or utility pole, we ask not to call the outage number because obviously there will be, possibly multiple widespread outages. So unless it's a fallen pole or utility pole, don't call the 1-800 number unless it's at something that severe. And that number would be 1-866-223-8508.
Oh, one more time, Tony. Sorry, that was fast.
Yes.
1-866.
Yes. Again, the number to call, and this is true emergency situations, fallen power line, utility pole, call 1-866-223-8508. The other important note, again, because of the severity of the storm, is that to stay inside, keep your children and pets inside during and after the storm.
Are you anticipating, we've been told, in fact, Congressman Blaine Farenthold was telling us just yesterday that the technology for delivering power to homes has really not improved that much over the past 30, 40 years, since Hurricane Celia, as a matter of fact. Would you go along with that?
I'm not familiar with his comments. I said our focus is to, be prepared to restore power safely as efficiently.
But, I mean, have you seen dramatic improvements in the technology that
I believe
delivers
so.
power to homes?
We have our website. We'll have an outage map once we have data available. So we'll be having information more readily available than before through social media, number one,
right.
Through our Facebook, through Twitter, through our direct website. We'll have an outage map, and we'll try to keep that updated as information becomes available.
Okay.
So that's one thing that is available now.
That was not there.
Before.
I know that. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's very helpful because you can get information quicker.
Tony, one of the things that Joe was mentioning earlier is that your crews can obviously go fix a down power line or fix a line quickly, but they can't do so if there's a lot of water. So obviously, I know we're going to need to practice a lot of patience as customers and as residents. Anything that you want to say about that?
Correct. Patience is going to be key. We're not sure. We're expecting quite a bit of rainfall, obviously, with the storm. But again, we all have to be safe, including our personnel, and we are trying to be as responsive as possible. But again, there are some situations that will make it extremely challenging, and we ask for everybody to be as patient as possible. We're committed to restoring power, and we've got, again, more than 2,000 personnel here in this area just dedicated for that effort.
And last thing, just what would you say as far as safety is concerned for residents? What is it that you need to look out for? I mean, obviously a down power line, that's pretty obvious, but anything else that we need to look out for if we step outside for a moment as far as power lines?
Well, treat every power line as if it's dangerous. There's no such thing as an unsafe power line. Make sure stay away and report it.
Okay.
We appreciate the information, Tony, and hope that we can perhaps check back with you to see how things are progressing as as we continue through this crisis. Okay.
I will do that. Thank you all for the call, and we will definitely keep in communication.
All right, we'll stay in touch. Tony, thank you so much. We will call you, okay? So keep your phone charged. All right, Tony.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, appreciate it. I just got a text message from one of my neighbors. The transformer just blew. We don't have power in our area. That's in the 78414 neighborhood. So, those power outages are starting to come in. Vessi, that band is starting to move closer inland, right?
We're going to see wind speeds increase. We're going to see rain intensity increase, and it's going to keep on increasing until we have landfall.
I mean, we hear the rain on the roof here.
It's little by little. It's not going away. It's not going to decrease, maybe for a second or two or a minute. But right now we're in increasing wind speeds and increasing rain intensity.
The map that you have, Bill, this one right here, this is the latest, so this is how close the eye is to us?
You see the eye there, and it's getting mighty close.
56 miles till Rockport. Yeah.
So, yeah, and again, it doesn't, I mean, you can tell a little bit of a rain band. I guess we're looking at rain bands now from the yellows and the reds, which is heavy rain and very heavy rain. And
this is a live radar, so we're getting that close. It's almost it's not even 3 o'clock yet.
Yeah.
Okay, we're still holding with the midnight.
Yeah, I want to. Oh, okay. Can we pop that back up, please? I want to go back and see if there's any updates there. 75 Northwest. No, that's the same as we saw a little while ago. So okay. I just want to see if they 3 p.m. update had come in yet. But yeah, it's
4 o'clock.
Alan says 4 o'clock is when the next update is planned. Okay. Well, let's hope it's a positive update that we can relate to folks. But you know, aside from the strong wind and you know, we keep checking with our crews around town. It's strong wind, no doubt. It's heavy rain, no doubt. But we haven't seen at this point any serious damage, and certainly no injuries or loss of life. So all of that's in the positive column. That's a good thing. And we know there will be some damage. Of course, there would have to be. But we just hope that we can keep it all under control here. What we want to do, you know, City Manager Margie Rose has had a monumental task during this whole thing. Everyone at City Hall really has, but she, excuse me, was meeting with her emergency managers, and she said to us just a short time ago that really when it comes down to it, it's all about teamwork.
Starting today, we're starting to prepare for the post-storm. Now, keep in mind, with over 3,000 employees, everybody understands their roles. The public works departments, which consist a lot of streets and utilities, they all know their role, and they are all positioning themselves as I speak in all of the different areas of the city. They know what to do once the storm once it passes. So they'll be doing their due diligence, and then our EOC has all of the right planners, logistics, and everything there. But from an administrative standpoint, I want to make sure that we have all of the employees needed in all of the right areas, because due to, depending on what happens, we might have to, as an example, we might have to put water in different areas to be able to help individuals. We have to plan all of that out while the storm is going on, so that when it's over and we do a damage assessment, we can be able to see what needs to happen, and we would have already come up with some what if. We have to go through the what if process while the storm's going on, but we will be ready.
And so far, all of that planning has paid off, and certainly the teamwork has been on display.
They've been doing these drills. You know, we cover them, we've covered them, and we haven't had to use any of them, certainly, but here it is, you know. We
do have a live picture now coming into us from Port Lavaca. Take a look at this. And Bill, you may want to comment as we see, this is going to be in the much talked about upper right quadrant of the storm. This is on the bad side, the dirty side. You can call it whatever you like. This is where the winds are more intense, where the storm surge will be more intense. And so this is the situation right now in Port Lavaca, near Victoria, and gives you an idea of what they are facing at this very moment. It's a live camera from our sister station, Ken's TV in San Antonio.
Let's take a look at the radar and see what's going on up there in Port Lavaca, see what kind of heavy band action they are getting up there. And
okay.
A little bit south of there you go, right there. The other side. No. There you go, Port Lavaca right in the middle there. Yeah, there are some heavy rain bands right there.
Did
some
you get
real
anything
heavy rain just to the south. So let's zoom on out again and take a look at the big picture. So yeah, big rains there, and zooming out a little bit more. I want to see how far these bands are. Is it going to Houston, Galveston? Yep. Yep. Yeah, the very outer bands for them. But
of course, we've been saying that the storm, when it does make landfall, is basically headed for that area up near Houston.
In Galveston.
That's right. And so they're next in line.
Yeah. The lightning in there and the strongest weather, the strongest winds, the red there, the lightning, the rotation, possible funnel cloud development. And
again, we're thinking that, Bessie, is going to hit at what time?
Well, landfall still expected around midnight, according to our latest models. But as we were been saying earlier, that
sure looks like it's close.
it sure looks like it's close.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, everything doesn't depend on what time the first part of the eye finally makes it to land. There's bad weather out there right now.
Sure.
And here it is almost 3 o'clock. Between now and midnight, the weather's just going to get worse until its landfall. So you can imagine 50 miles away or so, you can imagine how bad the weather in the middle of that eye is, and that is slowly coming somebody's way.
That is just a great shot, a classic shot of a hurricane.
Yeah.
Tightly wound with a defined eye. Look at that, and a pretty wide space there in the eye.
Yeah.
That would be, you know, if you're right underneath that, you're not going to see. You're going to see pleasant conditions.
Yeah,
yeah.
for a little while. You know, I was just thinking also over the weekend. Did anybody think we'd be doing this on Friday?
Absolutely not. We had plans. In fact, it was funny. You bring that up. Katya and I had plans to be in a fishing tournament this weekend.
Maybe the fish will come to us this time, right? Catch them like this.
My wife was going to be involved. Katya was going to be involved. It was for women, and we were going to go out in the Gulf.
You say that like it's so shocking. It's for women.
Yeah,
I have to pick on him because
well,
it's been a while.
Yeah, that's what I need. That's what I need right now, to be picked on. Thank you, Katya.
I know.
Let's take a look. We have a video just into us now from Facebook, from the Oso Bridge in Flower Bluff. Look at look at that fire. We're told that's a lightning strike. Look at that. Apparently, some trash or garbage on the side of the road there was hit by lightning, or
What if that's a transformer?
or it may be a transformer. That's kind of what it looked like to me. Or maybe it just hit that grassy area. But no, look at the pole right there. I bet that is a transformer. That may be why the power is now out in that neighborhood. Again, this is near the Oso Bridge. Just a short time ago, somebody sent that to us on Facebook.
We love Facebook.
Just a moment ago.
It's
And what were you saying, Carlos? What were you doing now?
I'm trying to get in touch with
Okay.
somebody real quick. Okay.
All right, so at 3 o'clock now, you're expecting another update from the
Yeah, in
National Weather
fact,
Service.
let's go to the radar. I'm going to run through everything so we can see wind
Okay.
speeds and everything associated with that. So if you don't mind, we'll put that on the full screen and take a look at out there again. The eye we've been talking about. We've chronicled that. All right, here are sustained winds. Sustained winds: 32 in Corpus Christi, 51 at NAS Corpus Christi, 49 in Port Aransas, and 40 at Rockport, 32. And here are the gusts: 66-mile-an-hour gusts right now at NAS Corpus Christi, 63 at Port Aransas.
So that's gone up a few miles an
it was
hour.
in the 50s, I think, when we last talked to you. Now we're looking at
No, they had 62 there, I thought,
60.
right? And now it's 66.
Yeah, so it's picking up
Yeah.
dramatically. Again, looking at midnight tonight, this hasn't changed much. This might change probably around 4 o'clock, another hour or so. And if this isn't temperatures, this is wind speed. And it has changed a little bit. 76 in Corpus Christi. I think earlier was 88. 90-mile-per-hour winds in Ingleside. There goes the eye. Things got a lot better here as we get into the weekend. Let's take a look at this next shot at midnight. Still looking at the area, Port Aransas, Ingleside. Again, this is just a computer model right now. The Corpus Christi still sitting in the worst of, not the worst of, but the back end of it.
I think your compadre Alan here has.
I'm just hanging out
something.
here watching everything
Okay.
unfold. I wanted to interject a little bit earlier. We're talking about how it's 55 miles offshore from potential landfall, and it's moving northwest, right? So 10 miles per hour. You do the math. That should equal about 5 hours. The time right now is what? 3 o'clock. So the forecast is calling for a much later arrival time. And one of the things that we've been watching here is the forward progress of the storm as it approaches land is likely going to slow down, which would prolong the duration of the worst winds of the storm as it approaches the coast.
We were thinking that,
Yeah.
but it hadn't happened yet. When do you expect that to happen?
The forward slowdown?
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to have to be just like Bill. That's why we're waiting for it. We just got that update, and it's still going, what, northwest of 10?
Yeah, can you bring it down?
Yeah, I'm going to go and I'll have to adjust that graphic for you, but
Because that would have to slow down considerably to come anywhere near that midnight. thing.
Still 120.
I just heard, I got a text that they got about a ½ inch so far, ½ inch of rain in Blunser. I'm sure a lot more is coming.
Yeah. So still 120, still a Category 3, 70 miles away from Corpus Christi. Still moving northwest at 10. But yeah, I mean,
and keep in mind also that what it's saying there with the distance away from Corpus, that's the airport. You know, I think that the computer's saying that that's the airport, and that's well inland. So we were just looking at our, you know, in-house distance tool, marks as the crow flies, and it was, you know, we're talking 55 miles or so offshore from Rockport, Fulton area.
Can I say something real quick? This is from CCPD, from their Twitter account. This is what CCPD is saying, is that social media rumors are not confirmed. Metrocom dispatchers report absolutely 0 confirmed reports of looting anywhere in the city. Okay, so that is from CCPD, Metrocom dispatchers. 0 confirmed reports of looting. I hope that's not what our community will come down to, and I don't think it will.
You do hope for that, and yet security, I think, is necessary. And I recall in some past storms, they did station officers on the JFK Causeway where you had to kind of show, island residents had to show ID, proof of residency, that they could get back to their homes, because they leave a lot, and understandably they're concerned about things like that. So good to hear that there are no reports.
Good,
is right.
Did you get in touch with the chief?
I'm sorry?
Did you get in touch with the chief?
I did not. I thought I had him in my contact list, but I don't. So.
Oh, okay.
Chief Markle,
call us. Chief Markle, please. We're all just trying to get your phone number here, trying to text you. Yeah. So give us a call. Who it? Oh, no. I'm sorry. I sent that the wrong number to somebody else. Okay. Okay.
Talk to your neighbor.
I have a neighbor. Hi, Dee. You're on live on Channel 3.
Oh, Katya, this is April across the street.
Oh, it's April. Hi, April.
Hi, honey.
So many neighbors.
She knows you're on the air, right? Live.
Yeah, you know you're live, right, April?
Talking to all of Corpus
There's no
Christi.
power outage on our street. I don't know if there's a power outage somewhere else, but there's none on our street.
Okay, I had heard from my neighbor behind us that there was a transformer that blew and that we had a power outage on our street. So maybe his side is there's no power, which happens obviously all the time. But what my neighbor behind me said that he had no power. So some areas of our neighborhood.
Okay.
Well, thank you, April.
Thank you.
How are you doing? Are you hunkered down at home?
We're hunkered down.
Okay. Well,
keep an eye on my house, April.
I will.
Please. I know you always do. But how's it since we're talking to you? So what are you experiencing right now? Are you hearing obviously the rain and the wind?
Yes. Rain and wind, and we really can't see out because we have the storm doors up.
Good.
Right.
And we're watching you.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, April. Appreciate your talking to us.
By the way, April, this is Joe and Bill Vesey.
Hey,
how you doing? Thanks.
Thanks, April. I appreciate it.
Be safe.
Okay.
And if you have a neighbor that you'd like to get on the air, just give us a call. So anyway, well, that's good to hear on your street, and it points up another thing. Just the last couple of bits of information we had, that in times like this, you get a lot of rumors, you get a lot of statements, beliefs that come across social media, that you get text from and so forth, that turn out not to be the case.
Right.
So be very careful, and we will try to be very careful here at Channel 3 before dispensing that kind of information, because we want to make sure that we're giving people the absolute truth.
Yeah.
Let's go to our Taylor Alanis now, who's at a gas station at Everhart and Holly. Let's go to her now.
Hey guys, we're here at the Valero on Holly and Everhart right now, and this is most of the scene here in Corpus Christi. A lot of these gas stations are boarded up, they're closed. We did see one earlier on Everhart and SPID that's open, but most of the ones we've seen are closed and boarded up. So if you are leaving the city, there is that one that is open, but most of them, like I said, they're closed. A lot of the ones that are open, if there are any, are just taking credit cards right now, and you can just feel the wind and and see the rain right now, of how we're already feeling the effects of Harvey. And we want to just remind people to stay safe on the roads, drive slowly, be careful. If you do happen to get gas, try to stock up on like a little container, try to put some in there. But like I said, if you're already heading out, this area is just full of gas stations that are closed. So try to find yourself one on the way to maybe San Antonio North. Avoid this area. Try to go maybe as northwest as possible if you can. Reporting from Everhart and Holly, Taylor Alanis, 3 News.
Taylor, thank you. And conditions there under control, as it appears, and that was just a couple of seconds ago. So that's where we stand with the storm approaching now quickly. And we may see a slowdown. We're going to determine that, at the next possible moment. But we see this storm with winds still of 120.
Also, sorry, real quick.
Yeah.
I say this all the time, real quick. So San Antonio officials are about to hold a press conference on Hurricane Harvey on the preparations, what they anticipate, obviously it being a Category 3 storm. We've got the Port Aransas city manager. Again, just wrapping this up, though, but San Antonio about to hold a press conference on what they're doing to get ready. We know so many people from Corpus Christi and the Coastal Bend area are there, so we're definitely going to try to patch in and listen to what they have to say. In the meantime, we have the city manager from Port Aransas. Hello?
Hello.
Hello there. And your name is?
This is Dave Parsons.
Okay, Dave.
Hi, Dave. Thank you for calling us.
What is the situation in your town right now?
Well, right now, winds are ramping up. Every 30 minutes they seem to, go up another 5 knots or so. We're just guessing, but we're thinking somewhere between, 60 and gusting to 70 maybe. Rain, of course, is kind of sideways, so it's kind of hard to judge how much is coming down.
The rain is now sideways. It's coming down that hard, and being blown that hard.
I'm getting screwed up.
Just different bands. Bands of rain come and go, and with the wind clocking around 60, 70, it's raining sideways. So.
Are you seeing? And I take it you've been there in Port A for a while as a resident, or how long have you been there in Port A?
I'm going on about 13 years.
Okay, so quite a while. And so does this seem to be causing any particular problems that you have not seen before, any damage, anything like that yet?
I just got a report. My fire chief did a cruise around about 20 minutes ago. He's seen some downed wires, but right now not a whole lot of damage.
Okay, well that would have to be a good sign that at least so far nothing major, right?
No, so far nothing major.
Where are you weathering the storm from? I mean, you've stayed behind, correct?
Yes, I'm on the UTMSI campus. They got some big concrete masonry dorm rooms here that are highly elevated, built to a pretty high windstorm rating. So we're hunkered down in one of the dorm rooms.
What other plans do you have in place to help folks who either need help because they did not evacuate, or are going to be facing some serious problems when they return?
Well, we had state assets come, probably around noon. That was as late as the state would send any drivers out to help us. We did have some people this morning decide that they wanted to go ahead and bail out at the last minute, so we were able to get some of them off the island. But pretty much now it's time for everyone to just hunker down and ride this thing out. The mayor, Mayor Bouillon, will be at the county EOC first thing in the morning, and I have my emergency management director, Rick Adams, here with me. So hopefully we'll be able to link up and start, making an assessment tomorrow morning.
And so far you have power, I assume, right?
Yes, sir, we still have power.
Okay.
And you heard anything about the roads? I mean, doesn't 361 pretty much flood kind of quickly?
I'm not sure anymore if that is a serious flooding.
How is that now? Do you know?
I have not heard. The only report I heard was that there was someone on the Weather Channel doing a report that it was starting to get overwashed, but I'm not sure. It is low down by Packery Channel. That's the lowest spot for 361. But that's it.
But it does take quite a bit, I would think, to make it impassable. But I guess that that could happen right there. You bet.
Yeah, I think that road crests right there at about 5.5 feet on the highway.
Okay. Well, Dave, do you mind if we call you back from time to time to check on the situation out there?
Hopefully I'll have cell coverage, so feel free.
Okay.
All right.
We appreciate that.
Dave, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Okay, you guys be safe too.
Yes, City Manager of Port Aransas.
We're going to head on over to San Antonio in that press conference.
Let's do that.
Let's listen in.
Find out about near shelter locations and emergency services. We also ask that you stay connected to the city and the county's social media channels, including Facebook and Twitter. Up-to-date information is also posted on sanantonio.gov, the city's website. I'll remind you to call 311 to report any outages or non-emergency requests for city services such as traffic light malfunctions and debris located in the road. That is an enormous help for our first responders and for our city departments to clear out that stuff, and we need citizens to give us a hand and some eyes on the road when they see things happening. Contact 911 for all emergencies. If you see a low water crossing without any barricades or warnings, please contact the non-emergency number 207 SAPD. Now at this time I'd like to bring Judge Wolf up to give an update on Bexar County's emergency management. Thanks, Judge.
Well, first of all, thank you, Mayor, for your great leadership on this effort and pulling us all together to be ready to help those that come our way, as well as to take good care and provide safety for the citizens of San Antonio and Bexar County. It was interesting this morning. We got up early this morning and spent a good time at the staging area out at the Bexar County arenas, and incredible efforts going on out there. I think we're up now to 250 buses that have come to be able to pull people up here that need assistance. We've got trucks there with medical equipment, with food supplies ready to send down. We've got ambulances staged and ready to go. We had 300 cots there this morning that first responders were spending the night on, as well as a food service that we're providing to them. And just recently, we're now putting another, 600-700 beds, I guess, inside the Coliseum that will be sized up to handle somewhere around 1,000, 1,100 first responders that have come from all over the state to help in this tremendous challenge that's facing us. So I think that's moving along very, very well. And then we've done a good job, I think, with respect to the low water crossings and the warnings we get out. If you go to bearflood.org, I would encourage you to go to that site. It lists all the low water crossing, many of them laying out in the county that are not necessarily right within the city limits of the city of San Antonio or any other 26 cities that we're coordinating very, very closely with. We have the 179 electronic monitors that are up in those areas, as well as now barriers staged at each one of them. And with the job that Sheriff Salazar has got to do to cover a large county, his people are stationed to be ready to put up those barriers when they're needed to be ready, providing public safety all out in the outlying areas of Bexar County. A very strong efforts being made to help people who are being hospitalized down in the affected areas where the storm will hit. We have a strong operation going.
Again, everybody, that was a live shot from San Antonio as the city of San Antonio prepares also for Hurricane Harvey. Bill Vesey, you've got the radar because you need to talk about Port Aransas.
From Port Aransas, they're getting a pretty good shot right now of a pretty good rain band right now. He was also talking about the wind out there. So the sustained winds in Port Aransas is 54 miles per hour. Sustained 54 out of the north. Yeah. So they're getting the back end of that. 37 here in Corpus Christi, 48 at NAS Corpus. Again, that's sustained winds. And let's take a look at gusts. 68 mile per hour gusts right now at Port Aransas. So when the city manager said the wind was whipping out there, he wasn't kidding.
Not kidding, yeah.
And it's just going to increase from there.
But it's good to know that, I think he was talking about a couple of downed lines, but it's good to know that so far the damage has not been severe.
Yeah.
And you know, we've all been to Port A, and we know that there's some older buildings there, and you know, some that you would think wouldn't withstand that kind of strength, and yet many of them were there for Celia. Maybe looks are deceiving.
And also not only just the old buildings, but also all that new construction that is out there, all those new houses, and you know, you love Port A, so many of us do, but every time you drive into the city, you see all those new developments on the side of the dunes and the beach side, so we've got all that there as well.
Of course, there are those who do some strange things during a hurricane, and we have an example of that tonight. Not this lady, Brianna Whitney of our staff.
No, not Brianna.
But she has actually found someone who has apparently decided to do something rather unique out there. And Brianna, come on in. You're live on the Bayfront.
Yes.